of development, of innovation, and oh, that sounded good, didn't it? An old Ford, lovely. No drag races in sight. This is Tab. Hope you're all keeping well. Super excited to be going out for a quick spin in the 570S, using my super long extendable arm to film this shot, which is hard work, heavy lens. But on this one, I want to focus on the McLaren brand itself, what it's all about, what it means to me, and some of the perception that we see about it online. So let's crack on. So here we are in the 570S, and what a car it is. As I say, had this car since June of 2019. Absolutely love it. Unfortunately, haven't been able to fully enjoy it to the max due to certain lockdown situations for some of the duration of ownership. That's life, it's unfortunate, but you got to make do. I wanted to really dig into the McLaren brand and what it means to me. It's definitely a very polarizing brand. You look it up online, you research it online, you watch the videos on YouTube. People kind of really, I think they kind of rather love it or they rather hate it. I know there's been a lot of high profile cases of things going wrong. Some, very high profile YouTubers, unlike myself, who've had things go wrong with their McLarens, and that's it. The brand is kind of dead to them, right? Which for me is a real shame. I think it's a little bit unfair. I mean, you've got to take into consideration just how long these guys have been round, right? So that MP4 12C came off the production line back in 2011, right? So really what we're looking at, just 10 years of development, of innovation, and oh, that sounded good, didn't it? An old Ford, lovely. But yeah, all that innovation that they've undertaken in 10 years, I think has been phenomenal. And let's not forget, going way back to the P1, right? That kind of broke the mold. That blew everything else in its class out the water, and it was a hybrid, right? Lest we not forget, it was a hybrid. Because McLaren, as you probably know, they've announced they're going back to a hybrid model with the Artura, which is coming out very soon. There's a little McLaren buddy coming up behind me right now, a green one, awesome. So you go past right now, there you go. Good to see them out and about. Nice 675 LT there. Oh God, I can't believe they're doing this, going from a V8 to a V6. Well, they've kind of got to be doing something, right? I mean, there's a lot of brands that are going that way, and one I personally really struggle with is the new Merc, the new C63, right? They're going from a V8 to a 4-pot, and to me, yeah, the environmentalists are going to bemoan me, but to me, an AMG always should be a V8. But yeah, we got to mark this one down in the name of progress and being more environmentally friendly. So it is what it is. But the new Artura is going to be a hybrid. And for me, that's not a problem. For me, it's going to be about what the car performs like. Just how good it is, right? Just how much emotion it evokes and how much it kind of fires up that driving spirit, right? For me, that's going to be very, very important. And I'm pretty confident it's going to do a bloody good job of that, right? And the other thing as well is people are saying, oh, the new Artura, it looks just like the 650 or the 570. They're not really changing the design. They're not really mixing it up. I think it looks great. And here's the thing, right? 911. Has that ever changed? Right? If it looks great, why bother changing something for the sake of it? And, you know, let's be fair. They've spent hours and hours, hundreds of hours, fine-tuning this thing in the aerodynamic tunnels, right? So it's a shape that obviously works. And it's a shape they're using for a very good reason. So I think we've really got to let the car talk, right, when it comes out. And I'm sure it will. I'm sure it's going to do a grand job. The other thing as well that I really do kind of read a lot about the brand is really the kind of, you know, the build quality, right? That often seems to come up. Yeah, okay, it has its challenges, it has its issues. But on the whole, I think it's very well put together. And when you think about the weight of this, right, it's clearly the lightest in its class. They always are the lightest in their class. You know, you can't have the best of both worlds, really. I think if something is light, it is going to rattle around a bit. And we did the Lotus Exige, right? That weighs just over a ton. So that really does rattle around quite a lot. But it's just something you expect on a car that is designed for flying around a track very quickly. So it's not really a downside for me. And they are kind of hand-built at the moment. We know that. And I think they could be massively improved if they automate more of their production processes, right? Which I'm sure they will, given time. But the fun element of a McLaren is absolutely unsurpassed. And I hear a lot of stories as well about the customer service problems that people have had. So, you know, JM on cars, he's always going on about some quite horrible stories. And yeah, some of those dealership stories are pretty scary if indeed they happen. And of course, I'm sure they did. But my customer experience with McLaren has been great. It's been fantastic. Stuff's gone wrong, but they put it right, which is what you'd expect from a marque like McLaren, right? So you've got to give them their dues. And I've had much better service from these guys than I ever had from Porsche. I think Porsche just trade on complacency, right? You know, they've rested on their laurels. They know they've got a huge fan base, and they don't really have to work at it. And I don't really see them doing that. You know, they've got their elite club of people that are allowed to procure all the RS models in advance, and you know, they used to flip them for serious cash. But you know, McLaren, for me, it's all about that kind of the driving side of it. You know, the emotion, that connection with it, that I really think is great. And I just thoroughly enjoy getting in it. You know, could this car be a daily driver? Well, yeah, absolutely, it could be a daily driver. It's perfectly comfortable around town. You know, the other thing that I always go on about for this car is the riding dynamics, the suspension, the likes of which I've never known in a car of this ilk. It just is super comfortable. It honestly feels like a car that is sort of twice the size in terms of the way the damping is on this thing. And then of course you can put it into the sport mode and the track mode if you really want to lock it up and turn that nice compliant suspension into blocks of wood. Yep, you can do that, right? So for me, it really is a wonderful car in that respect. We're going down the motorway now, strictly adhering to the speed limits, of course, driving safe and all that good stuff. And it's so comfortable, just sat here at exactly 70 miles an hour. You have to be very careful down this stretch of road, the M3, lots of new speed cameras gone in. But it just sits, and you get a sense of the aerodynamics in this thing, because there's literally no wind noise whatsoever in this car. And I've been a lot faster in these round tracks, and you can be doing 150 in them, and you don't even kind of know that you're going that fast. For sure, everything is flying by very quickly, but you don't feel like there's any wind resistance in this car. It just kind of cuts through the air, a bit like a knife. Really lovely aerodynamics in this thing. So you do have to be very careful when you get back into it on the road, and just remember that actually what might feel very slow in this car is actually probably quite fast in the real world. So just watch out for that. So when somebody says McLaren to you now, what does it conjure up? to me, it conjures up a sense of speed, right? Going fast. And there's a very good reason for that. The McLaren F1. If you know cars, you will absolutely know the McLaren F1. The Gordon Murray masterpiece, back when Gordon was working for Ron Dennis. And I've had the pleasure of meeting Gordon Murray. In fact, I've been soapbox racing at his chateau in France, which was amazing fun. But that guy just breathes automotive. Everything he does is kind of car related. He's an absolute genius. And, you know, he was given sort of carte blanche to do whatever he wanted to do with the F1. And he absolutely did. He kind of totally broke the mold, right? And the new project is T50. You can see so many of the design elements in that car, right? Just the way the front looks, I think, harks back to the F1, apart from the rear end, obviously, and that crazy fan that he's got on it. But McLaren now is a very different beast. For sure, it's still got that DNA in it. And I think a lot of the way the cars look now kind of have, you know, an echo of the F1 in there, that McLaren design philosophy, the low scuttles, the great visibility, the kind of really squat front end, right? But they've got an accounts department to answer to now, right? They've got a business to run. They mass produce cars, so you got to expect they do things a little bit more efficiently. But I still think the core of the car, the very heart of the product, is still something that's absolutely fantastic, right? And I enjoy it every day. And I do wish that we can keep them going, keep the business going, and enjoy their cars for many years to come, because for sure I want to. So I just wanted to give you my insights and my thoughts on McLaren as a brand. I think it's a great brand, and I really do want to enjoy it for many years to come, and I hope you enjoy it too. I hope you liked the video, just a quick chat. If you do, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you very soon on the next one. Thank you very much, and goodbye.